part of the second gen that was introduced in 2016 with competition with Audi, with Lexus and BMW. But to go purely electric 19-mile range is pretty exceptional, especially when you have a vehicle the size that we have today. And we're presenting it from Crown Volvo. Bud and Chris has given us the 2022 Volvo XC90 Recharge Inscription Expression in your crystal white metal with the metallic. The styling cues that the Scandinavians give is definitely going to be a luxury blend. New for this year is going to be standard navigation. Updated in the interior styling, tailored interior for 7 is what we have today. They do have an optional captain chairs, which would make it a 6-passenger. The segment is getting filled up. Even the Jeep Wagoneer is coming into this segment, but they don't do it the same way as the Scandinavians do it. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're going to go over all the specs and details starting now. Is going to be 0% emission by 2030. At least that's what they said. And the fact that we're having these hybrids and they're changing the engines, giving more battery options to it, it really does show that they are really pushing to make this work. And they do that with the styling cues that just make it unique. They start off with the signature Thor LED headlights, daytime runnings, and the way it sits and projects, it just really has a nice stance at 80.3 inches. It's not necessarily too tall, it's just touch under 70 inches. The ground clearance is also good at 8.8 inches, even though you have a little bit of a lower spoiler lid. You got the chrome that's going around it because this is the Inscription. Because of that, you're going to get the chrome grille with the chrome bars, and I do like the setup because it sits more luxury styling with this, and that's really what you're wanting with the 7-seater. Something that has the push to it, which this thing got 400 horsepower, plus the styling cues that make it set a little bit different in a parking lot, and I think they did a good job. What I like about the aerodynamic structures is it gives a 4-line tier, and then they add a trim piece that bulges out these fenders that are encasing these upgraded 21-inch 5 double-spoke alloy wheels. The disc reading in the front at 13.2 inches ventilated and 12.1 inches in the rear. That's also ventilated. Double wishbone front suspension with coil springs, a multi-link rear with transversal leaf spring, and both of them will have your anti-roll bars. With the axle ratio at 3.33, the length is under 200 inches at 195, which makes the vehicle sit in a good position because when you're comparing this to BMW, to Mercedes, to Lexus, the styling to this has a little bit more of an upscale luxury styling, especially because you get that Recharge badge, all chrome on the lower trim and around all the windows. But then they add the gloss black in between the window seals, so it does give a little bit different of an essence. Wheelbase at 117.5 inches, roof rails with the silver to give a little bit of a sport heritage to it. It's more for luxury derived, family use, but yet it's sporty too because it packs 400 horsepower, and I'm not trying to sound like a broken record, but when you go to BMW, you're getting less than that unless you do the M50i, and then it's just too crazy because the performance on that can't even compare to this. It's double the price. And if you go to Mercedes, the same thing. Vehicles don't necessarily give that much power. The Scandinavians do it. Large shark fin antenna. The roof spoiler is not lowered. It's just right position that go over these LED tail lamps. You're going to receive a reworked lower bumper. What that's going to entail, you're not going to see any exhaust. They're all hidden underneath, which, you know, because they're saying 2030 all electric, I'll let it slide. Even though the horsepower is crazy, the torque is insane, this is still a luxury vehicle, and you're going to get that chrome that's going to surround the top part of the lip. The lower is going to get the silver, which will include those reverse parking sensors. We do have a 360-degree reverse camera. The T8 all-wheel drive Recharge badging comes into play. You will have a power tailgate that goes into 15.8 cubic feet. There's storage underneath the floor and a 12-volt The third row bench split folds at a 50-50 split. That's going to give us 41.8 cubic feet. The second row bench split folds at a 40-20-40. That's going to max the cargo to 85.7 cubic feet and a max towing at 5,000 pounds. The Volvo XC90 Recharge inscription expression really does have a different stance in the way it looks when you're parking it next to the rivals of BMW, Mercedes, Lexus. It's definitely going to set a good impression, and it's going to stress luxury, and then it's going to hide the performance. But what they back it with is a standard 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharge, plus a supercharge, plus a hybrid with a total output of 400 horsepower and 472 pound-feet of torque that's paired to an 8-speed Geartronic transmission. You will achieve 26 to 28 mpgs with a combined of 55 mpges, which is really good. A 0 to 60 is going to be 4.9 seconds, stopping 70 to 0 at 188 feet. Top speed 140 miles per hour. So when you think about this, you're getting a fraction of the price compared to Mercedes and BMW, and you're getting all-round speed, quarter mile at 13.6 seconds. You can go EV 100%, 19 miles. Now it takes about 3 hours of a charge at 240 volts, but still, if you needed to take your kids to school in the morning and in the evening, you could do so without using any emissions. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Volvo XC90 Recharge inscription expression. As we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Volvo XC90, you're going to receive 38.9 inches of headroom, 40.9 inches of legroom, leather seats, bucket front seats, contrast stitching, they're heated, 10-way power adjustments in the front, which is pretty good with the price point that we're at. Elbows are going to be nice and soft, a flat dash, that's the way the Scandinavians like to do it, but it's tailored, very specific with the Harman Kardon upgraded sound system. Navigation, which has your pinch and your swipe. This does have your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Click that lower little lever and it'll make it smaller. You could swipe it over, slide it down so you can see all the apps we have. You can click and hold them and move the icons however you like. You can see your driving performance. Slide it back over. We do have FM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth connectivity. Swipe it over this way so you can see all the safety features. We do have heads-up display as well. The driving mode here. So you can go pure electric. You have your sport, your off-road. We have 360-degree reverse cam. When you put it into reverse, it starts off as a reverse camera. Then you hit the 360. You can click on those icons there. You have to double tap sometimes. Click back to the 360. Full trajectory for the reverse and for the forward, which makes it super easy. You have cross traffic alert, distance alert, blind spot monitoring, wireless phone charger, road sign information. It's pretty simple. You can just click onto the icons. Dual climate control settings. You just click here and you can slide it very easy. You also have your heated seats and heated steering wheel. I like how all of the air vents have the chrome around them and the gloss black on all sides of the vehicle. Very seamless, not a lot of buttons. Cup holders, you can fit a 16.9 ounce water bottle without any issues. Maybe a 20 ounce, you got your wireless charging pad. Open up in here and you can put some change. I like the gear lever. Open up inside here, you can fit a 16.9 ounce water bottle with 2 more USB ports. Steering wheel is a 3-spoke, non-leather, multi-function. The gauge cluster is configurable to an extent. It is a 12.3 digital readout. The only disadvantage is on the key fob. They now take away the leather because they're trying to go leather free as well. But door panel, you're going to get that wood inlays, the Harman Kardon. You get the memory for the driver, one touch up and down for all the windows. It's going to be a mixture of soft and harder materials, but the harder materials are wood, so it's not that big of a deal. Storage, I would say you can fit at least 8 or 9 16.9 ounce water bottles. Panoramic moonroof goes all the way to the back seat. Let's see how I look. For the second row, I'm at 38.5 inches of headroom, 37 inches of legroom, which is pretty good. The floor isn't completely flat. You do have 2 USB-C ports, dual climate control, and they're heated. So I do like that. You can also recline these seats which will make it a little bit tight, which you'll see in a second for the third row because I do all the dimensions. And you can slide these forward, so that way somebody like me can fit back there, and you know, I could still fit right here. So that is pretty decent if you have to use the third row and you have two more adults that's my size and dimensions. Elbows are going to be pretty soft. You do have a 16.9 ounce water bottle holder. 20 ounce will not fit. The panel moonroof does come back all the way to the second row. I do like that. We'll see how it looks in the third row. Door panel, you get the wood inlays, a little bit of harder materials, one touch up and down for the windows. In storage, I would say you can fit about 3 or 4 16.9 ounce water bottles, and there's storage behind both of the front seats. Plus you got your air vents here on the side. So when I sit in the center, I can still feel the air circulate the whole cabin. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, because it's a 40-20-40, you're gonna feel a little squished for the butt and shoulders, but headroom, no issue. Leg room, I'm grazing in the back of the front seat in a little bit a different position that I would be sitting. Obviously, I'm blocking the central entertainment for the dual climate control and the heated seats and the center vents and your USB-C ports, but like I was saying on the side, you have your own air vents on the side, so it's perfectly fine. The panoramic moonroof really does make it feel a lot more airy, especially when you're sitting into the center, because this seat sits up a bit as well. The real challenge isn't the second row, it's the third row to fit people my dimensions. So we're going to move this all the way up. We're going to see how I look. Entering into the rear, you just pull the lever and then you just push it forward, go right in. So now that we're in the third row, headroom is at 36.3 inches, legroom at 31.9 inches, and what I've done is several things, like I was saying in the second row, is with it all the way up, I can fit without any issues. With it all the way back, it's going to be very tight. With it reclined, it's even more tight, virtually impossible for somebody that's 6'3". So you could just get an idea of the dimensions in the back seat for the third row. However, when you're back here, if you give some space, you can fit 2 adults my size. The headroom is going to be a bit of an issue. You do have some storage here in the center, and you have one cup holder that I would say a 20 ounce max with a little storage cubby and your air vents. You don't really feel claustrophobic. I do wish the pano would come back just a touch more, but the windows are pretty big for the third row, so if you have to do it, you can. 400 horsepower and 472 pound-feet of torque. Unfortunately, the vehicle is someone's interested in the vehicle, so we will not be able to do a full test drive on this model, and they don't have any other XC90s today, but we're going to be driving it back to the lot so you can see it is just a very smooth vehicle. We've done several reviews on these so that way you can see, but it's super quiet. It's going to be a little bit more athletic for the drive whenever you're driving over any terrain, but it does still glide over everything, and it is super quiet. We'll show you the turn radius. As for brakes, you don't really have an issue with it. The vehicle is going to be a little bit heavy because of the hybrid technology. And I mean, you can get 0 emissions pretty decent in this model. So that is pretty good. Looking through the front windscreen, it's pretty solid. The A-pillars are pushed back, so that way you can see pretty much everything you need. You don't have any Prius windows in the front either. I do like that. The seat comfort, they're going to be a little bit soft and firm, more sporty derived, but that's really what you're wanting in this category. The visibility in the vehicle, you can see pretty much to the second row. You do have blind spot monitoring, so you are pretty safe with that. The heads-up display is going to be a little bit in and out if you're wearing polarized glasses. We're going to check the turn radius as soon as the light turns green and give it a little bit of a performance. This is at more or less a complete stop. You're going to be getting about 3 lanes, and here we go. And it is performance at its best. Stay tuned for the next XC90. As soon as they get one in, we will do a review on it to get the full drive, so that way you can really see the performance behind it. I'd like to thank Crown Volvo Cars for giving us this 2022 XC90 Recharge inscription expression for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, check out the details, the merchandise, the website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Ride.